Those who have watched Journey to the West know that at first, Sun Wukong was a very polite monkey, talking to everyone very politely. On the way to find a teacher and study on the island, he saw an old man and took the initiative to greet him respectfully, calling him immortal. When he met the Bodhi patriarch, he didn't say a word and immediately knelt down to the ground to pay homage. Why is Wukong so polite now? Because at this time he is just a weak person. Look at the Jade Emperor. Just because he controlled the beasts, the Phoenix Immortal accidentally made a banquet table in the Jade Emperor's palace. He immediately ordered for 3 years not to let rain fall to the lower world, causing half of the people to starve to death. However, when facing the monkey that made a ruckus in the heavenly palace, the Jade Emperor was able to generously forgive me. I ask you, why is it like that? It's actually very simple. Because at this time, Sun Wukong is a strong person. I know your life is very busy, but what I say is not easy to absorb, especially difficult to grasp. If you only listen to it once, my advice is to watch it to the end and listen to it over and over again when you have free time or are working. Housework, share and save playlists for your convenience. I am sure that within a few short months your thinking will develop to a new level. Stoic ancient. Hello ladies and gentlemen. What makes a person live in poverty and ignorance all his life is not due to his origin, not due to his education, not due to his environment or habits. Saying that fate is predetermined is not as good as saying that it has been written into his destiny by others long ago. If this person cannot break through the perception of this class, no matter how smart and hard he is, in this life, he is just a chess piece arranged by others. He will never be able to escape the fate of the lower class being manipulated. This content may overturn your perception. You may discover that your previous efforts were all misdirected in the face of the difference in perception. What many people consider the most important, intelligence and effort, will become worthless, especially the very important rule of changing destiny. I will share it fully, you must remember it. First of all, let's talk about the first blind spot that is most easily obscured in the perception of the lower class. For a person, what is the most important thing? For those who have watched Journey to the West know that at first, Sun Wukong was a very polite monkey, talking to everyone very politely. On the way to find a teacher and study on the island, he saw an old man and immediately took the initiative to greet him respectfully, calling him an old man. When he met the Bodhi patriarch, he didn't say a word and immediately knelt down on the ground and paid homage. Why was Wukong so polite at this time? Because at this time he was just a weak person, but such a sensible and understanding monkey after learning a whole body of skills. Transforming into a strong person, he completely changed when he learned a trade and became talented. When he returned to Hoa Kwasan, the first thing he did when he returned to Hoa Kwasan was to kill the demon king of the chaos world with a single slash. Then, without a blink of an eye, he destroyed and returned 9 of his family's groups. From then on, Wukong no longer called old people old men, but called them old men. When he met a real god, he would also look down on his status. If the opponent was weaker than him, he would call it Old Kwong. If the opponent is stronger than it, it will clasp its hands and bow, calling itself a servant. Look at the Jade Emperor. Just because of the Beast Keeper, Feng Tianquan accidentally made a servant. The table in the Jade Emperor's palace immediately ordered no rain to the lower world for 3 years, causing half of the people to starve to death. But when facing the monkey that made a ruckus in the heavenly palace, the Jade Emperor was able to generously forgive me. I ask you, why is it like that? It's actually very simple, because at this time, Tun No Kong is the strong one. But what about Duong Tang? He is extremely tolerant and kind to others, but towards Tun No Kong, he is extremely narrow-minded and stingy. At the slightest thing, he chants the golden spell, because at this time he only has one ability, and this spell can only control his own people. This is no different from some people who smile and talk warmly to others, but towards their own family they yell and scold. So compared to reality, it's not difficult for us to realize that although most people praise kindness, but most of the people who receive respect rely on their own strength. The teacher and students of Duong Tang go further west. The more the closer to the west, the more difficult the demons are to deal with. The stronger they are, the more solid their support is. On the contrary, in the main hall, thousands of miles away from the west, there are all small demons that can easily deal with the people, settling down and working in peace all season. The reason why many people live their whole lives in poverty and ignorance is because from a young age, what they hear and perceive is all fake or superficial. The visible rules of this world are fairness, justice, courtesy, and morality. But there are hidden rules that only insiders can understand. They are the truth and the nature behind the layers of cocoon. People who live their whole lives in a daze, no matter how hard they try, cannot escape the vicious circle of the lower class, is because they only believe in the visible rules and ignore the hidden truth. Next, let's talk about the second blind spot that is most easily overlooked in the perception of the lower class. Why do so many people work so hard but still find it difficult to become rich? For example, in feudal times, most people were poor not because they did not work hard enough, but because that poverty was inherently arranged. What do I mean? At that time, the annual income of a normal peasant family was about 33 taels of silver, but in that era, the average expenditure of a family was 36 taels of silver. People discovered that no matter how hard they tried, they could not make up for the difference of 3 taels of silver, so they could only eat half their stomachs and work hard to earn money. Basically, they did not have time to stop and think, and they did not have the spirit and strength to create any resistance and change. In the present, to satisfy their life needs, the poor did not have the resources to produce and the means of production. They could only work for the rich. They needed to follow a series of rules set by the rich, repeating the same tasks every day. Usually, after a tiring day of work, they could rarely get anything. Regain the spirit to think about something else or create some other values for themselves, and once the poor have saved up a little money, the rich will start to loudly propagate all kinds of consumer traps. For example, the petty bourgeois life, the brand is light and luxurious, all kinds of shortcuts and check-in locations. Policies for van make the poor immersed in vanity, glory, and enjoyment because they create debt, cultivate substances, and then have to bury their heads in. Work but can never escape. Lu Xun in the Diary of a Madman wrote, "I flipped open history to see but saw that this history no longer has a chronology. On every super crooked page, there are written the words humanity and morality. I lay awake for a long time, couldn't sleep, looked closely all night, finally saw that between those words, the whole book is written, the two words cannibalism." This paragraph by the poet Lu Xun is an explanation of history, an explanation of human nature, and a smart person like you who has come here must have realized that wanting to escape the circle of threading pants, actually, it's very simple. It's jumping out of the script that the masses see, understand the whole situation clearly, understand both the visible and hidden rules, then take advantage of them for yourself. Must remember the following destiny-changing rules. Firstly, strengthen your strength, because this is a commodity that never goes out of fashion in any period of time. Secondly, stay away from time-consuming professions or positions without development. Think of ways to make every minute and second of your life can create profit. Tuesday, stay away from consumer temptation. Stay away from debt. Only assets that create abundant income for you can help you escape the lower class. Fourthly, give up personal feelings, give up face and the views of others. Stay away from games and idle dramas. Fifthly, upgrade the circle. Socializing is the best shortcut to break through the difference in perception. Friday, be brave, be careful, move forward, improve your vision, stature, and ability to shoulder, because only what you see you meet. You understand, yo. You believe can happen. Self-discipline is the biggest scam of success theory. This is the topic I have shared before, but this will be the most complete content. Please listen carefully. There are 4 secrets behind high self-discipline. Each era has its own chicken soup dish, and the hottest chicken sub-dish of today's era is self-discipline. A few days ago, a student asked me, "Teacher, I also want to write an article, but every morning I can't get out of bed. So what should I do?" I said, "If you can't get up, then just keep sleeping. Obviously, you don't want to get up. Why do you have to force yourself?" That student, "Is that true? But I see that books written about successful people all wake up very early to read books and write." I said that they can teach because they don't want to sleep, they want to wake up, but I don't want to, I want to sleep. How can I resist my own will? That student said, "Teacher, is that so? Am I not self-disciplined enough?" I laughed and said, "Do you think Messi is self-disciplined?" "No, he's not self-disciplined, but he really wants to play Bo B. He doesn't want to sleep. Do you think Cobb's self-discipline?" "Discipline. No, he really wants to play basketball. He doesn't want to rest." "Do you think Einstein was self-disciplined?" No. He really wanted to do scientific research, didn't want to sit still like me and my colleagues. We can write 3 to 4 articles a day, and our content is very high quality, while many other authors can only update 1 to 2 articles a week basically, and we spend a lot of time every day learning and developing ourselves. Do you think our self-discipline is very strong? I don't think our self-discipline is strong. So what is the logic behind this? This lesson will share with you 4 secrets behind self-discipline. First, behind self-discipline is humanity. I can do something out of desire, I can do something out of fear, but I won't do something out of self-discipline. The reason is very simple. In terms of self-discipline benefits, the law does not bring me clear benefits. It is not possible to do it, and there is no big punishment, so it is normal for me not to do it. If I do things that deprive me of immediate joy for a long time because of self-discipline, then it is abnormal that I am sick. Right? Why do you sleep in? Because the price of sleeping in does not pose a threat to your future. If you want to suppress a desire, you have to find a stronger desire to control it. I do not have the ability to self-discipline. I just have a stronger desire to survive. My desire to survive has controlled my desire to sleep. In just that, everyone actually has 2 egos. One is the role. One is the self. Every day your role, you fight with yourself. What is the role? Is who are you in the eyes of others? What is the self? Is a lazy person who likes delicious food. All successful people are people who use their roles to control themselves. All mediocre people are people who use themselves to control their roles. Why do we love like Stephen Chow? Do you think you like Stephen Chow? You obviously like the role that Stephen Chow plays, right? Why do we like Chow Yun Fat? Actually, we don't like Chow Yun Fat, we like the role that Chow Yun Fat plays, like a god of gambling, like Golden Horse. The role represents your career, yourself represents your life. So I don't discipline myself. I just feel that the joy that a successful career brings me is greater than the joy that eating and playing in front of me brings me, because the joy of eating and playing in front of me is too shallow and the time is too short. So you sleep in to get a kind of joy. I wake up early to get a kind of joy. It's just that the joy we pursue is different. Well, the joy of life needs a career as a support, otherwise the joy in front of me will have to be paid for with future suffering. I don't discipline myself, I'm just afraid of future suffering. But you're not afraid, right? You're so brave, so you just sleep in. Monday you see is cruel. Be patient with yourself, the better life is for you. On the forum, there was a question: which ability is very important but most people do not have? And many outstanding answers all mentioned a word: self-discipline. The so-called self-discipline, ancient Greek philosopher Plato once said self-discipline is a kind of order, is control over joy and desire. In my opinion, this world does not have self-discipline, is all a lie. The self-discipline of successful people, it is just that life is forced into a corner to resist. Well, you see, the epidemic suddenly struck in 2019, making everyone unable to react at that time on the internet. There was a very good joke after a month of long leave, the first day of work, sitting in front of the computer. I could not remember the password to turn on the computer. Completely forgot what job I was doing at first. When I heard this sentence, I just found it funny, but then I thought back what could quickly destroy a person. It was the two words comfortable. At that time I called and chatted with a friend. He told about the things that made him worried, and at that time his company had gone back to work, but his working condition was very poor, often made mistakes and was reprimanded by his boss. The reason why was because during the epidemic he stayed up all night playing games during the day, hibernating. His living hours were extremely irregular, leading to his condition being extremely poor, so after gonna work it was also difficult to restore normal state. In the end, he suddenly woke up and said that indeed the desire to enjoy life eventually had to pay a higher price than what he said. Made me think a lot and couldn't help but remind me of another friend at the beginning of the holiday. He surfed the web, read news, watch movies, play games, then he realized he couldn't continue wasting time like that, so he started reading books, writing leaves, learning new skills. He realized that instead of lying around feeling uncomfortable like that, it was better to improve yourself with peace of mind. I really agree with his previous statement. TV series forever never finish watching the game. There is always a new version, but if you waste time today, the future will punish you cruelly. Someone said a long vacation has changed everything. Staying at home every day really destroys people. Eating and playing as often what corrodes the soul. Most people have the heart to go to the West to be shocked, but in the end they die in Chow Lao Trang. It is you. The normal state of most people is sadness. Bored, stagnant, waiting to die, cannot stand the current state and have no ability to change everything. Can be lazy like a pig, but cannot rest assured. Lazy like a pig, so the change you want, if you do not start now, will never start. Think carefully if that is true. Author Stephen Gees once told about an experience of his. He said at first he planned to do 30 push-ups but found that he could not complete it at all. Then he changed his plan. First tried to do one full push-up, which was not beyond his expectation. He completed it easily, but because of his more relaxed mentality and reality each time, he did not do just one push-up. Over time, the habit was formed. Even when it was not time to exercise, he would persist in doing push-ups. Actually, a lot in life is like that. Never pursue perfection. Don't pursue good results first. Take action first. Do 3 minutes. This is the core. If you still can't do it, I can only say that the pain that life slaps you in the face is not enough. All successful people live in a state of self-torture every day, and this self-torture will eventually become a habit. Self-discipline will eventually become confidence in the marrow, will eventually achieve financial freedom. Either be proactively cruel to yourself or wait for life to be cruel to you. Comparing these two, I want to accept the truth. More cruelty of oneself to self, because the cruelty of life will be more painful. Point 3, the best way to give up bad habits is not to let bad habits start. Things like short video games, TV series. Don't say that you, even I, will be addicted, because these things are all designed according to human nature. Once you touch, you will not be able to stop, so the best way is never to touch. Like me and my colleagues, they never dare to touch games because we know that just touching will make you addicted. If it is a movie that can bring value to people, then sometimes we also watch, but most of the movies I don't watch, because after watching the first episode, one will want to watch the second episode. Anything that makes you addicted, remember, don't start. Even just at the smallest beginning is not enough. Anything that can help you grow, even just at the smallest beginning in the future, will bring you great harvests. So you say this bad habit I have already started. Moreover, if you are addicted, what should you do? The best way is to let people monitor you change. For example, like Tran Vu. He said he used to do a logic thinking channel on WeChat, and every morning he had to wake up at 6 a.m. to say a 60-second audio clip. He didn't dare to be lazy because there were tens of thousands of people on WeChat waiting to listen. If one day he didn't do it, his reputation in the hearts of these tens of thousands of people would lose. This price was too high. Every time he didn't dare to be lazy because his public account had tens of thousands of people following him. If one day he was lazy and didn't post, his reputation in the hearts of these tens of thousands of people would lose. This price was too heavy. That's right. Of course, even though you don't have tens of thousands of people monitoring you, you can let your friends on social networking sites monitor you. For example, if you plan to jog every morning to lose weight, you can post a post on Facebook announcing that from tomorrow, every morning at 6 a.m., I will post a jogging video on social networks. If one day I don't post, I will send 100 to all my friends who follow this content of mine. Hope everyone monitors, I guarantee, even if it rains heavily. You will still hold an umbrella and run. This is human nature. When you don't run, you will suffer too much loss. Yes, when the loss of not running is greater than the loss of running, you will naturally run. Right, human nature is to avoid pain and pursue joy. This is not related to personality, only related to human nature. The fourth thing is to stand on the shoulders of giants to move forward. People are all affected. You don't always rush in with toxic friends around you. Can read more books. Yes. You see, actually all those powerful people every day, they are constantly studying, constantly reading books to learn, because when you read books you are actually communicating spiritually with the author in the book. You see our content, you are actually communicating spiritually with us through the content. Let us influence you. A person's life only has a few decades. Just relying on yourself is not enough. Want to achieve, must know to let people who are better and more powerful influence you. Use this reading habit to replace the habit of playing games. Watch your TV series while finding joy in this learning. One more thing is to have an opponent to compare. Each stage you must find a formidable colleague. Constantly ask and learn from him. Idol decides fate, example decides life. Small success depends on friends, big success depends on opponents. Want to see a person's future achievements? Just ask who his idol and opponent are, then you will know. Get rid of your toxic friends. Make friends with people who are truly ambitious, then use them to influence you. You see, me and my colleagues, our ability to practice. Oh, actually most of it comes from mutual pressure. He updates articles in China every day. Naturally, I will also have to update articles in Vietnam or abroad. I try, he will try even harder. So between good partners should be both love and hate. Better than the past, better than others is not noble. True nobility is better than yourself in the past. So from today onwards, go to bed early, wake up early, exercise more every day, read articles every day, study courses. Don't waste every second and minute of time. Do your career well. Believe me, remember this saying: the more cruel you are to yourself, the better life will be for you in the future.